going to do this outside, but it's pissing down rain, so we're inside with the Interrupters backstage at Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you.
Hi.
Yeah,
Hi.
it's a code red.
Yeah.
It is a Code Red, and Code Red, it sounds like fun. It's really not fun. I want to do a little bit of histrionics, a little background. Let us begin with the girl from Montana. Tell me about growing up in Montana and how you saw shows, because it's not a regular stop for everybody. So,
No, there was a little punk club called Jay's Upstairs, and no, there wasn't a lot of bands that came through, but when they did come through, it was a really big deal. And I saw the Specials in Montana.
Hence the pin.
Yeah, yep. I saw the Specials, and I saw Say Ferris, and those were a couple of bands that I saw that really kind of like, I got shook, to my core. I'm like, this is amazing music. I gotta, I was really inspired by the Specials when I heard them come through. But every band that came through Montana really was like, I don't know, kind of made an impression on me, because didn't happen very often.
Where in Montana were you, by the way?
Missoula.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's colleges there and stuff, so
Yeah.
that would kind of help make it a regular stop.
Yeah.
And as for the Bavona brothers, and I did say it right? Yeah. That is Sicilian. You guys are actually going to the city of your ancestry, I think, soon. Let me hand you the mics.
Oh, I'm not going. They're going.
Yeah, we have a little time off between shows, and instead of flying west home, we're flying east to Italy.
Ow.
Yeah. And we're going to spend like 4 or 5 days there and just see what's
we're
up.
going to stay near Palermo and then spend a day driving down through the mountains to get to Bavona. And then we're going to go to City Hall and be like, where's my family?
Is that something that happens to folks? I guess it can happen to people wherever they're from, but I find my friends of Italian heritage or Sicilian heritage are super, super proud of it, and often will try and trace their roots back to the old country.
Yeah, we haven't tried yet. Like, we haven't done any of those ancestry or genealogy things, but it would be really interesting because we've only been in this country for so long.
And my family's from Palermo, and so we have this theory that we're probably all related, because we come from a very specific area in this very small little, we're probably related, because second we met each other, we felt very connected.
Either we're all related, or we were in some very shady mob dealings
I was gonna say,
centuries back. Either way, though.
Setting fires on the shoreline to guide ships in to wreck them.
100%.
Loot them. Well, let's flash ahead to more modern times. You guys have done a ton of work with a gentleman I just love to death. He's one of the super coolest human beings I know, Tim Armstrong from Rancid. Let's talk about how you initially hooked up with him and started working with him.
I met Tim years ago. I auditioned to become the touring keyboard player of the Transplants. We knew some mutual people, so they recommended me. I went in, played, and then I went on tour with them, the Warped Tour in 2005. And then on that tour, he had a studio on the bus, and I love doing studio stuff, so we kind of clicked there. And we've always just done studio stuff. So when we started the Interrupters, we had already all been working with Tim, and he was so excited that the four of us decided to start this band and the type of music it was, and immediately jumped on board as producer. And he's put out all 3 of our records on Hellcat and produced all 3 of them, and just been an awesome mentor and sounding board and collaborator, and just awesome dude. He's like our brother. He's like our 5th Interrupter.
And he more so than I think maybe anybody else in whatever genre of music that you want to talk about is one of the most nurturing and encouraging human beings who has ever done. I think there's probably dozens of bands I think that owe something to him for helping them get rolling.
I mean, absolutely. And we all grew up with those Hellcat Records compilations. So, to be on Hellcat is a huge deal to us. And a lot of the bands that have influenced us, like the Slackers, the Agrolites, Dropkick Murphys, Hepcat, it was a huge deal to just have that cat on our album. It's amazing. Yeah.
And when you would see those bands younger and then a little later either working with them or touring with them or doing stuff with them, besides geeking out and being a fan and watching them, how do you learn from them on and off stage?
Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, we learn from every band I think we've toured with. And I think the ones with the most longevity, like Rancid, like Green Day, like the Bosstones, like the Dropkick Murphys, The one common thread that they all share is the amount of respect they treat their fans with, the amount of respect they treat their crew with, and the amount of respect they have for each other. And it really is truly like a family kind of thing with all of those bands respectively. So as we're coming up watching them, we are always conscious of just to show respect everywhere we can and appreciate what we got and be grateful and try to be in the moment and enjoy it, you know?
One thing that comes out of the neck of the woods musically where you guys are at that I am particularly interested in is posters. I am a voracious collector of posters, and some of my favorites are, for example, Rancid did a 3-night stand at the Black Cat in D.C. with 2 to 3 different opening acts every night. Is there anybody amongst the band who is a collector of posters or music memorabilia or somebody who archives everything?
Collector or hoarder?
I'm a hoarder. It's
Yeah,
a
no.
horrible fucking disease.
I have every ticket stub to every concert I've ever been to.
Me too.
I collect set lists.
Me too.
With the shows we play, posters, I always try to get one of those special screen prints.
Do you get them signed too?
It sometimes it depends. I think we have like a Coxbar poster that's signed at the first.
Yeah. The first Rancid tour, they ripped this gigantic House of Blues
Las Vegas
thing off in the casino, and it's the size of the door.
It was in a glass case, and I had to like squeeze it out and get it down.
And they got it.
walk
We
through the
ended up.
lobby.
We got everybody from the tour because that was our first tour. Is Rancid and the Transplants. We got everybody from the tour to sign it, and it's so big.
What was that thing that we took from the Green Day thing?
Oh,
Remember
they
that
were celebrating.
giant-
They were celebrating the release of the God's Favorite Band compilation album. So backstage, they did like a little party and had the album cover.
no,
posted
I'm
everywhere.
not
That's what she's talking about. She's talking about we played with them. We were lucky enough to tour the world with them. They took us everywhere. And at one show in Australia, we were driving up, and there was about 6 flagpoles with these huge banners that say Green Day featuring the Interrupters. And we were like I was like, I'm gonna climb that pole at the end of the night and grab one of those. And we just asked the promoter. He was like, "Oh, give me your address. I'll mail them to you." And so we got them. Yeah, they're massive.
Yeah.
We don't know what to
We
do.
don't know what
We
to
don't
do
know
with
what
it.
to do.
I don't have a warehouse to hang it up in.
or a flagpole big enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would Green Day mind if you used them as a backdrop at night or something? Or, you know, Billy Joe, hey, it's us. Listen, could you help us out a little bit? That's awesome. But yeah, I hoard stuff. I literally, and I've been to north of 3,000 concerts, and I have everything from everything I've ever gone to, and I catalog it. And I want to do a coffee table book of all that stuff, but it's like a disease.
Yeah.
It's not cool. It's not.
We
cool.
haven't cataloged or done a coffee table book
Just
yet,
in a
but
shoebox.
You
yeah.
will.
But
Oh,
that's
that
the
day will
idea.
come.
It's the idea.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is whoever the hoarder is who everyone's going to go back to 20, 30 years from now when you're all doing books and you'll be begging for it, you know. Hey, whatever happened to all those banners? Oh, you mean the ones at my restaurant? Yeah, you know.
They bust our chops all the time for all the crap we keep, and I'm like, you'll 20 years.
You're gonna be like, oh,
You'll be thankful.
Yeah. Let's talk about a couple of tunes. I believe it's Family that was used in the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
And tell me how that happened and if you've gotten to watch much of the new edition of the Twilight Zone.
We have seen some of the new Twilight Zone,
Haven't seen any yet.
and I think it's incredible and cinematic and very well done. We're huge fans of the original Twilight Zone, so
Submitted for your approval.
it's big shoes to fill, you know? Yeah, Rod Serling. I mean, like that is it's hard to kind of but I think with the new one they're doing their own thing in a way with still paying homage to it. The way that came about is one of the writers, Glenn Morgan, who's a great friend of Tim's and become a great friend of ours now. And he comes to our shows, and he's written for X-Files and a bunch of other stuff. And he was writing an episode, and they needed a song that the whole crew could like sing together. And then without a spoiler, the whole crew on the spaceship is singing our song. And we heard that it was happening, and we like freaked out. But then we didn't know anything about when it was going to be released. So one day the twins just texted us and said, "Come over, we got to show you something." And we had no idea what it was, and we showed up and watched it, and it blew our minds.
Yeah.
Foreknowledge of something like that's like knowing that you're going to hit the lottery, but you just don't know what day the ticket's going to come in.
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
What kind of rights do people go through? Do you have to sign stuff away, or just what's the...
Truth be told, we never signed anything, and it was one of those things where if he's writing it and he's putting our song in, that's great. We don't really care what we get from that. Just the fact that our music could be heard by more people and it's part of such an amazing legacy of something like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Is just that's a bucket list thing for us.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what the deal was with that.
Yeah.
It's my favorite show of all time, like all time. And I've written so many lyrics. I've seen every single Twilight Zone,
Yeah.
and I have notebooks of lyrics that are inspired by the Twilight Zone. Just
so-
watching the Twilight Zone, and then I write lyrics because the writers, they just speak in poetry.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah,
So
Richard Matheson wrote some of the best ones, and of course Serling wrote them. Very quickly, what is if you named one Twilight Zone episode as your favorite, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, my brain just exploded. Where is everybody?
Is that the one with Burgess Meredith?
Where he's like going around and he's like, where is everybody?
Oh, and he ends up he's in the tank alone. He's in the isolation
Like, where
tank.
is everybody's running around?
Yeah.
And yeah,
My
I like every single and the music, like, oh, anyway, yes, I love it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this new recreation of it,
Yeah.
and just to see like what they're gonna be doing.
And most certainly, without Twilight Zone, you don't have Black Mirror. You don't have
Yes.
any of these other things. They all just swim in the wake of Rod Serling, who was a true genius.
Yeah.
I also I have to check down at my notes because we were going to do this outside. And it was really going to be very nice, and here we are cramped in a really hot and sweaty trailer. So you guys are very nice for all the time. Gave you everything. Give me some insight into the song.
Oh wow. Well, we always write about what we know about, so it's a true. It's basically a true. I mean, it is. It's a true story of heartbreak, and also the celebratory moment when after you give everything that you could possibly give to a relationship, and it doesn't work out. Just that moment of celebration of going like, I'm free. I truly don't care anymore. You can't hurt me anymore. I've been through it all. We've been through it all, and now I'm finally free, and I'm feeling empowered by that and happy and. It's really a celebration of that moment of feeling tied to something that is just like breaking your spirit every day. And then that moment when you wake up one day and you're like, wow, it didn't hurt today.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that person today.
Yeah.
That's what this song is about.
Well, that's a great way to end it. I thank you all for really hanging through all the unpleasantness out here and getting
you,
cramped
Lou.
in here
Thank you.
today. And
Thank
let
you
me
so much.
Look at the floor for my notes and everything. So it is the Interrupters. We are backstage at Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio.